Good afternoon. Welcome to Special Report with Chris O'Corn and Alex Parr for Friday, July the 10th, last show of the week. Before we get to go and enjoy our weekend,
that isn't blistering hot.
Yes. Well, it's raining right now too, so.
It's not the weekend yet.
Yep.
Not for me until 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then if it's raining, I'll be upset.
Yes. And we are waiting for Doug Ford's press conference. Today he's going to be with Vic Fedeli, who's the Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, and then also Dennis Darby, who is the President and CEO of the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. So that'll be coming up for you shortly. But first, we're going to hit Daniel with the weather.
We're going to hit Daniel?
We're going to hit Daniel. Yep. So what's going on with the weather there, Daniel?
Thank you very much, Chris. Good afternoon, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. It is a bit of a wet day today out there for you, as you can see on our live waterfront view, which is sponsored by wirelesscom.ca. Thank you very much, and make sure you check them out at wirelesscom.ca for all your telecommunication needs. We have some clouds, we have some showers lingering. You're going to see that probably until the evening time. Then things are going to clear up overnight, and we are going to see some fog into the overnight. So I'm going to get into your current temperatures for Northern Ontario right now. So Thunder Bay, you're sitting at 27 degrees. Wawa 21, you're the cool spot. Timmins, you're at 28. Elliott Lake, you're at 27. Sudbury, you're at 30. Elliott Lake, Timmins, and Sudbury all under a heat warning for today. And here in Sault Ste. Marie, we are sitting at 24 degrees as well, and there is still a humidity factor. So I'm going to get into your 3-day forecast now. And for Saturday, it is going to be a high of 23, and we are going to see a mainly sunny day. There is a little slight chance of showers on Saturday, but right now it's a low factor, so we may not see anything at all, and a low of 14 overnight. Sunday, you're going to see a high of 24 degrees, mainly sunny, low of 15 overnight, and clearing up. We're getting back to that normal temperature, and the humidity is going to kind of back off for a little bit. And then on Monday, it's going to get up to 26 degrees, mainly sunny once again, and then a low of 16. But you're going to see now, as I get into the 7-day quick outlook, the heat is coming back. So Tuesday, high of 29, sunny and hot, high UV index, low of 18. Wednesday, 27 degrees again, sunny, and a low of 17. Thursday, you're looking at a high of 28 and a low of 18, and mainly sunny.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Doug Ford is at the podium, so we're going to go right over there.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. My name is Laura, and I'm the managing partner here at Artistic Skylight. For 40 years, we have been manufacturing high-quality skylights for residential and commercial customers. Artistic Skylight has been working with the Government of Ontario to recruit students in skilled trades and establish an export plan for our global expansion. We are not only proud to manufacture in our great province of Ontario, but to have dedicated, hardworking staff that help us each day and help us support our community by building at Habitat for Humanity, by working along with the Toronto Region Conservation Foundation to clean up our shoreline of Lake Ontario, and by contributing to our Sick Kids charity. As our economy reopens, it's going to be important than ever to support local businesses and manufacturers like ours to help us revive the economy again. That's why we invited Premier Doug Ford here today. With the support of the province, I'm confident we can get Ontario's manufacturing sector booming again. With that, I'd like to invite Premier Doug Ford to the podium to make a special announcement today. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much, Laura, for having us here. It's great to be here in Woodbridge with Minister Fedeli and our local champions, Minister Lecce and Minister Tobolo, and our friends at the CME and Artistic Skylight. The great folks here at Artistic Skylight. Sam, the founder, started this great company in 1980, and it's a great family-run business. And Sam, thank you so much. Where's Sam? Sam, come here for a minute, just for a second. I'll put this mask on while you come close here. This is the gentleman, the founder that started 40 years ago. You're an amazing man.
Yes.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're an incredible example. These folks are true entrepreneurs. And thanks to the hardworking small businesses just like this, we're getting Ontario back to work. My friends, today's job numbers bring some great news. 378,000 jobs were added to Ontario's economy in June. That's 378,000 more people back to work and taking home a paycheck. We saw 107,000 more jobs in the retail sector, 66,000 more jobs in manufacturing, and 34,000 more jobs in construction. These numbers are good signs. But we know we still have a long, long way to go. And my promise to you is that I won't stop until every Ontarian, until every worker in Ontario is back on their feet. And this week, we took the first steps with our Made in Ontario plan, a plan for economic growth, renewal, and recovery. Because when you say Made in Ontario, it means something more these days. My friends, not long ago, every jurisdiction in the world was left scrambling for critical PPE and health supplies. Canada was in a desperate struggle to import supplies we needed from China, the US, and other countries. Well, back in April, I said that this province, as a country, we would never be left in this situation again. We would never be left at the mercy of other countries and other leaders for PPE and critical health supplies, because Ontario is a manufacturing powerhouse. There's nothing that we can't build right here in Ontario. And when I put the call out to Ontario's manufacturers, when I asked them to retool and join the fight, the response was incredible. Through the Ontario Together portal, we procured 26 million gowns, 175 million surgical gloves, 123 million masks, 4 million face shields, and over 10,000 ventilators. Absolutely amazing. Today, we no longer have to rely on any other country, any other leader in the world for our vital PPE. We can make it right here in Ontario, and we're going to keep stockpiling to make sure we're ready for anything. I want to thank Ontario to be supplying these PPEs to all of Canada, right across every single province. My friends, we should all be proud to live in the greatest province, in the greatest country on earth. Ontario is an economic powerhouse. We punch way above our weight, and we have clearly seen during this pandemic that as Canadians, as Ontarians, we support our own. We got through the worst of this pandemic thanks to the 14.5 million people rallying together. And as we recover from the worst economic downturn in our lifetime, as we fight to get every Ontarian back on their feet, as we brace for what the future might hold, no more than ever, we need the support our own. That means supporting Ontario businesses and manufacturers, and that's why I'm here today to support a new initiative put forward by CME to recognize and promote all of our incredible products made right here in Ontario, from cars to beauty products to household goods and supplies, and of course, skylights. Come to Artistic Skylights and make a purchase. To the world-class products made at this great facility right here in Ontario. Ontario is a manufacturing giant. And my friends, we can't forget that as a province, our collective buying power is massive. These numbers are just amazing when I read these off. We generate over $857 billion in annual GDP. That's 40% of the entire Canadian economy. Our manufacturing sector generates $300 billion alone, and over 80% of that is exported worldwide. We are titans of industry, and I know that every Ontarian is proud of our great businesses. These folks are the backbones of our communities, and when they succeed, workers succeed and families succeed. Our business owners, they stepped up to support us through this pandemic, and now it's time that we as consumers support them too. And I know that if given the choice between two similar products, any of us would gladly support local and choose a product that's made right here in Ontario. But the key is giving consumers that choice, making sure that when you're walking down the aisle at your local grocery store or hardware store, you can clearly see which products are proudly Ontario made. So today, I'm proud to support the CME and their new program to promote Made in Ontario goods. This campaign will build awareness and help retailers and consumers identify world-class products made right here in Ontario. And my friends, this initiative is critical. It is critical that we all get behind this, because as a province, as 14.5 million consumers, changing our buying habits, just even slightly, 1 out of every 10, would mean billions and billions of dollars staying right here at home, staying in local manufacturing facilities down the street rather than leaving our borders to China or the USA. And make no mistake, as a province, we need every advantage we can get right now. The global economic landscape is shifting rapidly. They will be some of the tough days ahead of us still. And when I see our neighbors to the south threatening us with tariffs, after we just signed a historic trade deal, it's clear that we are in a fight of our lives. Our companies and local manufacturers are in a fight of their lives. And we are competing as a province against every jurisdiction in the world. So we need to give our local manufacturers, our local businesses, our full support. And that means buying Ontario made. It means being aware of where the products we buy are made. It means promoting, recognizing, and supporting our local manufacturers. It means making conscious choice. When you're walking through the local supermarket and see that logo behind me, when you see the Ontario Made logo, picking up that product and supporting your local factory, supporting your local small business owner, supporting your local workers. My friends, we're going to come back from this stronger than ever before, and it all starts here. It starts with buying Ontario made. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. I'll pass it over to Minister Fedeli. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Ontario is Canada's economic engine and workshop, where Made in Ontario goods have a well-deserved reputation for quality that is second to none. During the COVID-19 outbreak, the province called on our manufacturers to retool their operations, to produce medical equipment, PPE, and other essential supplies. And Ontario's businesses and manufacturing community stepped up to the challenge. Ontario is home to some of the world's greatest manufacturers, representing 750,000 workers. So now it's our turn to do our part and step up for them and support the men and women working in the plants, the factories, the assembly lines across the province. In a recent Canadian manufacturers and exporters survey, 73% of Ontarians said they already try to purchase Canadian-made products. And since COVID-19, 56% of Ontarians said they would try more often to purchase domestic goods. So today, we're proud to support the launch of the Ontario Made program led by the Canadian manufacturers and exporters. This program will help consumers use their purchasing power to directly support our homegrown manufacturers, while ensuring our province is strong and self-reliant both today and in the future. The CME's program will include an Ontario-made logo that manufacturers can use to make it easier for consumers to identify Made in Ontario products, a supportontario-made.ca website to connect consumers and supply chain partners with Made in Ontario products through one directory. This will help increase exposure for our manufacturers to new customers here in Ontario and beyond. We all have a role to play in making sure we emerge from COVID-19 a stronger, more prosperous province. And we thank the CME for leading this very important initiative. We encourage retailers, the people of Ontario, to show their Ontario spirit by purchasing goods made right here at home. We'll now pass it over to the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters CEO, Dennis Darby. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Well, thank you, Mr. Premier and Minister Fedeli, for the kind words and for supporting this very important program here in Ontario. This is the heart and the hub of Canadian manufacturing, and thank you to the staff here at Artistic Skylights. They're a proud member of our association. So let me tell you about Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. Most people know us as CME. We've been around since 1871. We're Canada's largest and oldest trade association, started right here in Ontario as the fledgling country began to industrialize to take advantage of its resources and its location and its people to help grow the economy. We've been a constant voice and a consistent voice for the companies and the people who manufacture the products we make here in Ontario. Now, the tens of thousands of Canadian manufacturers in Ontario making everything from lipstick to boxes to auto parts to circuit boards, adhesives, home cleaning products, food products, toilet paper to steel, aerospace equipment, plastic pipe windows, and even skylights. Well, they employ, as the Minister said, 750,000 people, but they support many more families and communities, and they use high technology equipment and tools, and they leverage our natural resources and the skills of our workforce. Many of them pivoted to make PPE during the crisis, to ramp up production to help make the products we needed to get through the crisis. If there were any of those lineups at the grocery store, everyone was looking for everything. So the Ontario Made program is a great opportunity to really shine a spotlight on those companies and those people who make the parts, the products, and the ingredients that we sell here and to the world. So we're putting out a call to the manufacturers across this province to register their products on the Ontario Made website, to obtain the Ontario Made logo and labels and start using them on their proudly made Ontario products. Soon the site will offer a searchable database of Ontario products and Ontario Made goods. We're asking retailers and those who want to promote and sell Ontario Made products to register so that anyone can find those places to buy these great products. And we're asking all Ontarians to sign up on the website to receive the latest information on Ontario Made and to find the products designed and made by their neighbours, their friends, and their family. Ontario represents close to 45% of Canada's manufacturing production. And as we recover as a province, we know that manufacturing and the good jobs it provides will be at the forefront of rebuilding our economy and our trade. So our call to all manufacturers is to visit supportonteriomade.ca. You see the logo behind me. Register their Ontario Made products and start using the logo immediately. Thank you so much for the support of the government.
We'll go to the phone line for questions now. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up.
First question comes from Lucas Meyer from News Talk 1010. Please go ahead.
Hi, Lucas.
Thank you very much. Actually, my first question is for Minister Lecce, if that's possible.
Absolutely. We weren't even going to invite him because he was going to get all the questions. Come on up.
Minister, you mentioned yesterday many times that the goal was conventional classes in school 5 days a week. However, this morning, Mayor Tory said he's contacted both the TDSB and the Catholic Board to work with them to try and find empty space for that to actually happen. If those conversations are going on, is that not a sign that, A, that's going to be necessary in order to actually have school full-time, and B, if those conversations going on, do you think you should take some sort of active role in supporting that endeavor?
Yeah, thank you. The motion that the Toronto Public Toronto Public District School Board put out yesterday is calling on the federal municipal governments and the province to collaborate on the way forward. And obviously the province stand ready to work with all district school boards in the province on the reopening plan. We've asked, to be fair, of these boards for 3 plans because we want to be ready for every circumstance and every challenge that can take place in the fall. And what parents have asked of us most clearly including folks here in the city of Vaughan, is that they want us to be ready to ensure the continuity of learning is not in any way undermined because of what the challenges of COVID in the fall. So that's our obligation. That's why we put more funding in place. It's why we're continuing to work with Toronto and other boards across the province on innovative solutions to those challenges. But the fact remains, the best way forward is to be ready for the three circumstances we've laid out: in class day to day, 5 days a week with heightened safety protocols, an online option should we need it, should we have to close schools again, that it's strengthened, it's consistent province-wide, and finally a blended option that cohorts and caps the numbers of children in a class no more than 15. That is a prudent step forward. We're going to continue to work with Dr. Williams, the Chief Medical Officer, to provide more details to the sector so that we can continue planning and do it with success in September. But obviously, we'll continue to work with Toronto, with the district school boards in these urban and rural settings on their planning as we get closer to August 4th, the deadline when they have to submit them to the province.
Follow up.
Thank you very much. And Premier, I will ask you a question, as I'm sure you will get others today. For Monday, we've seen in the past the government has laid out some pretty big announcements, announcing them on Monday for later on in the week.
Yep.
So just curious if you think that's going to happen this coming Monday.
I'm not too sure. I'll have to get back to you on Monday, but we're having some great announcements next week. But I just have to stay tuned. Lucas, you're smart, buddy. Very smart.
Next question.
Next question comes from Travis Danraj from Global News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Travis.
Hi there. Good afternoon, Premier. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So, Premier, I spoke to Kingston's mayor just now. He tells me that his office has had a number of complaints about voters that are skirting U.S.-Canada border regulations. So I'm just wondering how concerned you are about that and what you would say to voters.
Are you talking about U.S. residents living here, Travis?
Yeah, well, both situations. I guess on the lake, they're having some concerns about people crossing the border and skirting border regulations.
You know something? I apologize. I thought you said voters up in Kingston, up by the Thousand Islands. Well, I had a great conversation, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, with the Deputy Prime Minister, and I said very clearly, I'm not in favor of opening up the borders July the 21st. You know, our borders, as long as the goods and products are flowing, which they have been, and I love our American neighbors, but not right now. Come and visit us when things cool out and calm down, especially south of the border. And this is a perfect example. All the credit that goes to the people of Ontario, that we're in such a better position than our friends south of the border. I read a couple articles about Melbourne in Australia there. They had to shut down again because they opened up. I read an article about Israel that in May they were out there saying, okay, let's all go out there, and guess what? Now they're shutting down. So we're going to be very cautious on the borders. We're going to be very cautious about opening up, but eventually we'll get there.
Follow up.
And Premier, something called the, excuse my language, Potahawk Piss-Up Party is happening this weekend on Lake Erie in Norfolk. It's said to be, quote, North America's biggest boat party, joined 2,000 plus boats and 10,000 plus people for a day-long Mardi Gras-style party in the water. Now, the OPP are advising people to adhere to public health guidelines and stay in social bubbles. But in the past, many Americans have attended this party as well. You have said, and you said again, that you don't want to see scenes like we have seen in the United States of crazy parties south of the border amid a global pandemic. Why is this party being permitted?
I don't think it's right, you know, and our American friends, again, I love you, but stay at home. We'll have time to come over on boats and trains and planes and everything else, but I'm just not in favor of this unless people want to stay on their own boat or pleasure craft, whatever they bring over within Ontario, not through the U.S. In Ontario, guys, it's not worth it. Believe me. I know everyone's pressuring me. Let's open up stage 3. We're going to get there. But the same people will be coming after me saying, why did you open up too early? So I'm going to make sure we're careful and we go by the guidance of our medical health team, our public health team. We have some of the brightest doctors in the entire country around that table, and we're going to make sure we listen to them. So folks in Norfolk, be careful and socially distance. That's golden rule.
Next question.
Next question comes from Randy Rath from Stage TV. Please go ahead.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Premier. Along the same line as those two questions, if we need to keep Americans out of the country so much, why are we allowing baseball players to come here and play Major League Baseball? I've seen a lot of activity on social media saying that they should just be kept out, that it could create a real problem.
Well, you know, something between the municipality and the province and the federal government, we've all agreed that they can come up, be confined, self-isolate for 2 weeks, get testing, and in the case of the NHL, they're getting tested every single day. We won't have any fans. But Randy, I think, you know, people wouldn't mind seeing the Blue Jays on TV in an empty stadium, mind you, but I think we need a little bit of sports, but they're going to be confined, opposed to opening up the border internationally. And I think I said this the other day, but I'll say it again. I talked to a very smart doctor, and I said, Doc, when do you think the second wave's coming? And he said, Doug, as soon as you open up the border to international travel, he says that's when you're going to get hit. And so that's concerning. And you know, he's a medical professional. I'm not. So I'm listening to the medical professionals.
Follow up.
And my second question is, Hamilton Council today agreed to hire 75 full-time equivalent people to work for Hamilton Public Health. It's going to cost at least a couple of $1 million, but they have no way to pay for it, and they're hoping that the province will pay for it. Do you think the province will pay for that, and is that any way to be operating?
There's no way to operate, but I'm glad they're getting public health. But you can't, folks in the 444 municipalities, and to the folks in Hamilton, you can't hire a whole bunch of people and then turn to someone else to pay for it. It doesn't work that way in the private sector, and it doesn't work that way in the public sector. Randy, just imagine if every jurisdiction went out and did what Hamilton just did and turned to us and said, let's pay for it. It's like us going out and buying stuff, looking at the feds. Pay for it. You got to work with us. You know, our phones are on. The mayor knows my number. Call me, Mayor, before you go out and spend a few $1 million and then turn to the province to pay for it. I'm not knocking. I think everyone should have a good public health team. But come on, you can't spend other people's money. It's actually the same people's money, to be honest with you. I always say there's one taxpayer. They're paying municipal taxes, they're paying provincial taxes, and they're paying federal taxes. I don't think it's fair to everyone else in the province.
Next question.
Next question comes from Mike Crawley at CBC News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Premier. I've got a question for you on behalf of my colleague, Lauren Kelly. It's about playgrounds. And I know you were asked about this a week or so ago, but as summer goes on and it's so hot out, people are really wondering why playgrounds are still closed across the province, given that there's a growing consensus that they really pose very little risk of spreading COVID-19. Why are playgrounds still closed, and when is there a prospect of them being opened?
Well, my number one job, Mike, is to protect all the people, especially the younger people and our kids and our children. And what I'm being told from our medical officer of health and other people, you know, kids are on there, they're touching, feeling, you know, sneezing, everything else, and it will get open, but hopefully in stage 3 we can open it up. That's what I'm listening to, and it's hard to disinfect the playground every time kids go on there. But I can't, Mike, I'm not going to chance anything when it comes to our children. You know, we'll find other ways to entertain the kids outside of going on the monkey bars and that. But I hear you.
Okay, and with some of the things that are still closed in stage 2 that could potentially open in stage 3, looking specifically at bars, we've seen, you know, bars contributing to the jump in cases in the U.S. And in Quebec, they've just put more tighter restrictions on bars effective today. So what do you see happening for bars in stage 3? Do you see them being